All right, we're 2 minutes after the hour. Welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness, it's so exciting to see your faces. Familiar faces, new faces. Hi, everybody. So good to see you, Savannah, Ola, Carla, Colleen, Carrie Ann. Oh my goodness, friends. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And as I'm doing that, will everybody welcome Lisa is here behind the controls with us today. Will everybody unmute for a second and just say, hi, Lisa?
Hey
Hi,
Lisa.
Lisa.
Hi,
Hey
Lisa.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi Lisa.
Hi,
Hi,
everyone.
Lisa. We are thrilled to have Lisa joining us here at the helm. Friends, Shiros, I have missed you. I am so thankful that you are here, and I truly have goosebumps. My heart rate is elevated right now. It is not lost on me that you said yes to being here. You said no to something else to say yes to this. And truly, from my core, thank you. I am excited to share with you a behind the scenes moment, behind the scenes, actually, not just a moment, but a 10-day window of things that were happening that ultimately wound up being the catalyst for what I will share with you today. As you may have noticed, I went underground for a little while there. The weekly emails that I consistently been sending out for about 5 years stopped. And here's what happened. Here's what happened in a 10-day window. So in a 10-day window, this was earlier this year, my dog went into the ICU. She was in the ICU for 3 days. We visited her just like you would a human in the ICU, and we didn't know how things were going to turn out for her. Thankfully, she's home and she's fine. In that same window, my car died, like pull over in a Dollar Tree parking lot and die. I threw out my back, which was the day before we were supposed to leave for my godchild's wedding in Georgia. And I had a team member who made a really poor judgment call, which was a direct violation of one of the company core values and zero tolerance policy for it, and so had to part ways. And that was 3 weeks before the largest speaking event I ever had. It was coming up in Mexico. So in that 10-day window, and hopefully you're not in one of these windows right now, but have we all been there a time or two when just like everything is crashing and it can be very overwhelming. And the words of a wise woman just kept ringing in my ears, and she said to me, Jamie, things break down so you can break through. I'll say that again. Things break down so you can break through. And I really took that to heart. And so I paused a variety of things so that I could create some space and really reflect on, what's going right? In the midst of all these things that are going wrong and that are out of my control, what's going right, right? Particularly, in my business and with my beloved clients, because I want more of that. So let's let this be an opportunity, Jamie, to do a little research here. So I took some time, looking at the data of my own programs. I asked feedback from some of you right on this call. I looked at other women's leadership programs and what was making them successful, like at Harvard and at Yale and other big consultancies. And I pulled out the key pieces to success so that I could build something for you that would be truly valuable, truly transformative, where you could feel a difference and be a different person on the other side. I know you value your time as much as I do, and wasting it is not an option. Am I right, ladies? I mean, you've got way too much to offer. So I collaborated with some really smart people to package what I am so excited to share with you. So before I officially do that, could we all take a moment? Could we all take a collective moment here, my Shiros, to pull from our collective energy? You might not know a single other woman on this call, but I assure you, you are surrounded by brilliance and excellence right now. You are surrounded by support, and hopefully this is the most empowering, environment that you're going to have today. And I really like that. Takes my breath away for a second. I get so happy. I'm so happy that you're here. It makes my heart smile so big and so bright. So to take our collective moment, will you sit up nice and tall with me? release anything that you're holding on to, either literally or figuratively. Take that nice deep breath. Close your eyes if you would like. Just take a moment to get centered, present, grounded here in your busy day. If you want, take one more. That little breath at the top, the physiological sigh, that's a good one too, one of my new favorites. All right, team. Feels pretty good, doesn't it? All right, well, drum roll, please. We are gathered here today to share with you the Leadership Laboratory. Welcome to the Leadership Lab, my friends. It is both a podcast and it's a community. It's a power combo here. You can listen to your podcast either on your way into work or during your morning walk. The episodes are designed to be about 30 minutes or less. So there's not the 2 hours, or it's not the one where you're like, okay, now I've got a really long to-do list. And the community is a landing place for the podcast. Because raise your hand here, raise your hand with me if you've ever listened to a podcast and you were like, wow, there's so many good ideas and I'm going to follow through with these 7 things. And then what happened? Right? Not a single one got followed through with. And so the community is a place that when you listen to the podcast, now you've got somewhere that you can come and make what you heard on the podcast, bring it to life. So it's that 2-for-1, because again, your time is valuable and I know that, and I want to make sure that you earn a return on it. So there's 3 reasons that it is the Leadership Laboratory. And I'd love to share these reasons with you. And if you're up for it, we're going to do a little experimentation live here along the way. So the first reason for the Leadership Laboratory, the name itself, is that leadership is one big experiment. It's one big experiment. Something I've certainly gleaned over the past 6 years of coaching is that leadership, it's not a destination. It's not something that anyone ever has mastered. It's always a work in progress. And you can lead wherever you are, regardless of title. You don't need to wait for an invitation to lead. And in fact, the best leaders, they decided to lead long before anybody even asked them to. And when you invite in that mindset of experimentation, you can approach things with curiosity, right? One of the best superpowers you can have, both for growth and for sanity. And if you would, for a minute here, will you picture walking in to your high school chemistry class or biology class? Does everybody remember that? Like, I remember being very excited about lab days, right? Because you went in like, all right, cool. What are we going to learn? What are we going to do? And the mindset of experimentation is particularly powerful when it comes to testing out your leadership style, because it reduces fear. It reduces fear. And one of the podcast guests you're going to hear from has close to 4 decades of experience in this. And when he and I were doing our pre-meeting for the podcast, he said, Jamie, I share in this philosophy completely. Just that whole idea of experimentation provides a certain freedom that you can have to wiggle within your own space rather than think, oh, I got to get this perfect the first time. So this is a safe space to do that. And in your career, in your work life, I was in the corporate world where I worked with mostly men, and I didn't feel like I had a lot of spaces where I had that full trust, where I had that full freedom to experiment with my style. And this is a place to do that. And when you do, the outcome is that you get results and transformation. So are you with me so far? This idea of experimentation, and I love the emoji love, by the way. So keep that up. So I coach leaders at all levels, from emerging up onto executive. I primarily work with women, but I do have a few men that I coach at the executive level, and that's for a couple of reasons. 1, because they asked me, and 2, because it helps me keep my pulse on the comprehensive happenings in the corporate world. And one of the executives I'm coaching, he's on a succession plan to be VP of an $11 billion company. We'll call him Tim. And I was in a session with him, and we were working on how to deliver constructive feedback, not hurt feelings, really help people out. And he said, well, Jamie, he's like, okay, so what book can you recommend, or what resource can you recommend? And I looked at him right in the eyes and I said, Tim, you don't need to read another book, right? You don't need to read another book. And this is coming from an author, right? So if you're going to trust anybody with this, it would be an author. I said, what you need to do is take the knowledge and the wisdom that you have and actually deploy it, right? Actually use it. You gotta ride the bike. And the same is true for all of you ladies, right? You've got the knowledge, you've got the wisdom. And as you know, we don't grow by thinking, we grow by doing. So let's look here at the bike metaphor for a second. This bike looks very similar to the one that I learned how to ride. It was pink. It had the floral banana seat. The day that I learned how to ride it, I had on yellow Converse All-Stars. And I'd be curious, go ahead, type in the chat if you can envision your bike too. What color was it, or what was the defining feature? Allison had a strawberry sizzler, absolutely. And the thing about bikes, right? And I've got, look at my cute little model here. It even, like the wheel even turns. Whoops, I got to put the kickstand up. The thing about bikes is that when you learned how to ride your bike, did you learn because you read about it in a book, right? You might not have even known how to read yet when you learned how to ride a bike. And even if you had read about it in a book, like it could have told you the steps. But what do you actually need to do to learn how to ride a bike? Read it in a book? Or sit your seat on the seat, right? And leadership works that exact same way. And so I remember, when my dad was running behind me in Northwest Ohio, and he let go of the seat and I took off, and oh my gosh, right, I was balancing and I made it, halfway down the block, and then I got to the corner and I didn't know what to do, so I just crash landed, right? And I scraped my knee, but I remember standing up and turning around, and my dad was running toward me, waving his hands, and I was waving my hands, and we were so excited, focusing on what I had accomplished, right, rather than like the blood that was literally coming off of our knee. And so this whole idea of experimentation is that same thing, that you can do it in a place where it's totally cool, right? If you scrape your knee, you're going to be fine because you've got a huge cheering section and a supportive environment. All right, it looks like we've got some fun memories here with bicycles and bikes. Yeah, Missy's was yellow with daisies. Fantastic. All right, so do you want to do an experiment with me? Everybody ready to do experiment? All right, so we're going to play along here with a little game about leadership mindset, because everything starts with mindset, right? You'll either succeed because of your mindset, or you'll stay stuck because of self-limiting beliefs. So I've got a little game here called Who Says It? Who Says It? So as the Sheroes here of graduates of these programs know, we all have power statements. So I've got a power statement here. I'm going to have you guess. Whose power statement is this? I am the master of my fate. I'm the captain of my soul. Is this our friend Oprah? Is this Ender Newey, who is the CEO, former CEO of Pepsi? Or is this Melinda Gates? Tell me in the chat, what's your guess here? Maggie, hi Maggie. Says Oprah. I see some guesses for Oprah, for Melinda, for Indra. All right. This is Oprah. This is Oprah's power statement, her leadership mindset. And you know what's fascinating about this? You know who was told she wasn't fit for television early in her career? That was Oprah. Good thing that Oprah continued to lead with her mantra here that I am the master of my fate, the captain of my soul. Imagine if she had led with the persons who told her, you're cute, you're not fit for television. Right? Oprah has donated over $400 million to education of girls in Africa, all because of her leadership mindset, which is starting with her leadership mindset. All right, great job. You ready for another one? Here we go. Who says this? Well, now I know. After she makes a mistake, is it Caitlin Clark, WNBA player for the Indiana Fever? Is it Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, Mexico's first female president, or is it the future Mrs. Kelsey? I see a lot of guesses here. We've got some Taylors, some Caitlins. Yeah, so this is Taylor Swift. This is Taylor Swift. She says, all right, I mean, of course, right? She swings big on things, and when she makes a mistake, she does not spend time ruminating on it. She says, well, all right, that was a lesson. Now I know. Moving on. Helpful for leadership mindset. Would you agree? All right. And then here's one. I manage my assets wisely so that they create value. Interesting. So your choices here are Sheryl Sandberg, the former COO of Facebook and founder of leanin.org. Is it Alice Walton, the daughter of Sam Walton, or Kim Kardashian? And I'm assuming you know who Kim Kardashian is. All right, I see our guesses, Cheryl, Kim, Alice. So this is Alice Walton, the richest woman in the world, who just used the wealth that she's created to open up a $47 million medical facility in Arkansas. Imagine if she had said something like, I just hold my assets close so that they stay safe. It's amazing that with a leadership mindset, what we can do. And I want to quickly fact check here. Elon Musk was the world's richest man until very recently when Larry Ellison eclipsed, pun intended, eclipsed him because Oracle's stock price went up. You're going to hear on the podcast from a woman named Katika Roy. She's a gender economist, and she's going to share how to earn equitable pay, how important it is for women to build wealth, not just for families, but for the economy in general, and how we can all do that. All right, well, friends, I'd like to turn this now to you, and this is an opportunity just to fire away. It's something that we'll talk about in the Leadership Lab community, but what's your power statement? What's your guiding statement? And if you have one, go ahead and share it in the chat. If you still want to think about it, that's okay. But I want to just invite in the opportunity to think about, what is this? Yeah, Maggie owns her confidence. Savannah, you persist. Laurel, a winner is someone who never lets losing stop them. Yeah, loss is just an opportunity to learn, right? I'm capable of anything, Carla says in all caps. All right, look at this fun way to experiment with it. Missy, I am grounded, and I know that is served very well for Missy. All right, so that's reason number one, my friends. Having a safe space to experiment with your leadership style is one of the best places to grow it. And you can do that in a laboratory. All right, second reason here. Tell me if you agree or disagree with this. Words in your head can sound different when they come out of your mouth, especially in a high stakes environment. Does anybody agree with this? Yes. I've noticed that in my programs, where ladies and participants derive the most value is in the breakout sessions. You know, the words that are most transformative for you, they're not going to be the ones that I say that your facilitator says. It's going to be what you say, right? Where you participate. And I don't have any breakout sessions planned for today because I've learned that it's not the best thing to do that without warning. It makes people uncomfortable, and I certainly don't want to do that. But what I will share here is that talking and communication are not synonymous terms. Right. And so having a space where you can practice hearing yourself say something out loud and do it in an environment where you've got friendly voices and friendly faces to say, hey, this is what I heard, can be very transformative for you. So do you want to hear an embarrassing story about this? And why we all need this practice? Okay. So let me give you a little precursor here. So this photo was taken, Carla, you'll recognize this. This photo was taken in Monterrey, Mexico in June. That tiny little pink speck on stage, that's me. So I am a paid, trained, professional speaker, right? I know how to speak, and I know what I'm doing. Yet, if I don't practice, it can wind up in disaster. So the embarrassing story, remember I said my car died. So my car died, and 10 years ago, when I bought that car, I bought it through the auction. I worked with a guy at the time who had an auction license, and he said, yeah, sure, here, Jamie, use it and buy your car, which was great because I saved several $1,000s doing that. Well, when I knew my car was on its last legs, I was like, oh, I should reach out to him and see if he's still doing it. So I texted him, didn't hear back, and then it was a week later, and I'm like, well, I'll just call him. So with no rehearsal in my head at all of what I would say when I called him, I had my AirPods in, I dialed him, his voicemail answered, and right about at the same time that it beeps to tell you the voicemail started is when my AirPods died. You know, the little like whoop that they do. So the AirPods died, and I was like, wait, did the voicemail start? Did it not start? I don't know. So I'm like, well, you better just go for it, Jamie. So I started talking, ladies. It was one of those things I would just eloquently describe as word vomit. Have you ever had those moments where like you start talking and then you have this out of body experience and it's almost like you're watching yourself saying like, please stop, please stop, please stop, right? That's what I was doing. I got about a minute and a half in and thought, had this great idea. Oh, wait a minute, like I can interrupt this process, just hit pound, right? Because when you hit pound, it should say to erase and re-record your message, hit 3, right? Does everyone else experience this? Okay, that's what I did. Didn't happen. It was just a beep. And I thought, all right, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe it changed. Maybe now we're supposed to hit star. So I hit star. And again, it beeped and nothing happened. And so I just hung up and I sent him a text message and said, hey, Matt, I just left you quoted a special message. Would be great to hear from you, Jamie. I hit send and I wanted to crawl under my desk. And I thought, man, if this were back in my dating days, I would be texting a girlfriend right now to say, please meet me at Uptown Tavern. Matt never got a hold. Matt never replied to me. And without being dramatic, I mean, that could have been like a $10,000 mistake. So I share this, that even as someone, like I said, is a paid professional speaker and speaks on stages like this without practice, we're leaving ourselves open to risk. Even I will screw it up. And your voices matter, ladies. Your voice deserves to be heard. And in order to be heard at the most rewarding level as your most confident self, we've got to have that safe space to practice out loud. Are you with me? Okay. Do you blame Matt for not calling you back? So has anybody ever, as they were time for our next experiment, has anyone ever dictated a message into your phone and then what's looking back at you is not at all what you said? Has anyone ever experienced that? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So let me give you a little recap of a fun situation with this. So this text was sent from my friend Lindsay. It said, hey, are you around between the 12th and the 16th? And I replied, yeah, what's the plan? Because we've been talking about this. She was coming in town. And then she replies and she says, oh, no idea. Just wanted to lick you down. Right? I just saw half of you do this. Just wanted to lick you down. Right? I had the exact same reaction. You know, we're good friends, but we're not, anyways. Then I get a text message that says lock. Another one, lock, not lick. Damn it. This emoji, and then I can completely understand if you're now suddenly busy. Can we all relate to this? Can we all relate to this? And sometimes this makes me wonder, right? When my own phone doesn't understand me, how often is that happening in a work environment or even a home environment when we don't have the same type of feedback loop on our phone, right? That's another place to have a laboratory where you can practice. All right, so you ready for your experiment with this? Ready for your own experiment? Okay, so this is a did they even hear me? But a heartwarming exercise. So go ahead. Hopefully you can do this without distraction, but open up your phone. Open it to send a text message. Don't put anything in the to field yet, but go down into the part where you would dictate. Let's make sure everybody's on mute here, and I'll be quiet. And I would like to invite you to say this message into your phone. Hello, beautiful! Exclamation point. You're doing a great job. You're stronger than you may think, and good things are lining up for you today. Heart emoji. All right, everybody ready to share this into your phone? Okay, go for it. Everybody complete? All right. How did it go? Did it hear you properly? Did anyone have a wild deviation of something that you didn't intend to say? Well, hopefully, I was doing a little research on this. Hopefully those were words that actually there's pretty good character recognition in your phone. Laurel, mine changed lining to lighting, which was actually pretty nice. Yeah, I like that. Hopefully things are lighting up for you today. That works too. All right, team, here we go. So now go ahead and you can do one of two things. Either put your own number right in there and send it to yourself, or put in a friend's number and send it to her or him, either way. But again, just an experiment in how important it is to hear our own voices, and that sometimes, even with the best of intentions, we're not heard in the way we think we are, or what's being said inside our head. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip over this next slide, but I will just share this is a success story that just came from yesterday of one of the Sheroes in my program who created a plan for speaking up in a meeting where she's been for weeks not speaking up, and it worked right away. All right, you ready for reason number 3? Reason number 3 here that the Leadership Lab was created. This is a big one. And some of you might recognize your face on this, Missy, Maggie. Human connection. We all crave human connection. We all need it for survival. And to be totally transparent with you here, I've got some really serious concerns about how AI and social media are compromising our mental health in this category. Now, AI can be good for some things like creating a photo of yourself in a laboratory, for example, or helping you send an email or preventing you from sending an email. But there's other things where it's pretty damaging. And quick question, does anybody know the name Jessica Radcliffe? Does anybody know that name? I'm hoping that you don't, actually. But during the week of 4th of July, I went on my phone to do one thing and got distracted by this headline that said, "Beloved animal trainer killed in vicious attack by killer whale in front of horrified audience." And when I saw that headline, of course, I wanted to pay attention. And I did this whole deep dive, this whole trail, finding her Instagram page. Does she have family? Is there a GoFundMe? How can I help? And then as I started to look at the video, there were some suspicious things about it. And long story short, it was all AI. The entire thing was made up by AI. And I am embarrassed to admit, I spent about 12, 15 minutes doing a deep dive on that. And afterwards, I felt this guilt and this shame. I mean, that was time that I could have spent working on my business that I love, or with my little Shero, who's 18 months old, and yet I got sucked in by something that wasn't even real. Check out these statistics. So this is just on LinkedIn, and there's equally as interesting ones on other social media platforms. But in just 1 month, in 2023, right, when AI wasn't even what it is today on LinkedIn, AI-generated posts increased by 189%. By late last year, over half of longer posts, which are 100 words or more, they're suspected to be generated by AI. And there could be some good things in there, definitely, but all AI. And then this one, year to date today, 2025, AI-generated comments increased by 340%. So it's like, we don't even know, right, if we're messaging with another human or not. And yet what stays consistent is the human behavior side. Oh, wait, one other data point here. So I have the Jamie Dandar, my maiden name, at yahoo.com email address, which I created in 1995 in a computer lab at my college. Now, that's not me, but that's a picture of a young woman who has about the same amount of collagen in her face as I did at that time. It was 29 years ago. So I've had this email address for a very long time. Last year, that inbox eclipsed 100,000 emails. This month, hopefully you can see this number, this month, it now has almost 300,000 emails. It took 29 years to get to 100,000 emails, and less than a year for that to almost triple. There's so much content, and while some of it is great and some of it is good, there's a lot of AI slop, and it makes it harder for us to weed through what matters. And as human behavior experts will tell you, and things that I stay up late studying will tell you, what hasn't changed is our need for belonging, for relatedness, for being in community of like-minded people who share common goals. And these are just two examples: Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-determination theory. I can rattle off a few more to you, but this whole idea of human connection is so important, especially when it's competing with AI, right? It helps you be less exhausted. It helps avoid burnout. There's so many benefits to it. So you ready for another experiment in this category? Ready for an experiment? Okay, so this is called Top 3 Me. I'm going to share 3 categories with you here. We've got priority, authentic self, and values. And underneath each of these categories, I've got a variety of characteristics. And I'd love for you to scroll this list. And this is a no overthinking zone. Just pull out one word in each category that speaks to you. One word in each category that lands with you. And I would invite you to write this down, and then bonus points, right? If you want to put this in the chat, bonus points. I'd love to see your 3 words. Maggie, you and I connected about this earlier. Would you like to share what the 3 words are that you picked out?
Yeah, you bet. Balance, resilient, and respect.
Yes, balance, resilience, and respect. Love it. Seeing them in the chat is fantastic. Bonnie, impact, compassionate, integrity. Allison, impact, compassionate, transparency. Rachel, balance, compassionate, empathy. Queen Cobra Shiro. Hi, Susan. Family, confidence, and courage. Carrie Ann, I love bonus points. Yes, I know, Carrie Ann. Balance, confidence, courage. Look in the chat, right? Leah, impact, curiosity, authenticity. Jen, hi Jen, family, resilience, and respect. Yes. Is this the type of community you can relate to, right? When you're surrounded by women who have so similar values, right? Similar leading characteristics, similar qualities. Angel Dandar, what are your 3? Type them in the chat. Yes, this is the kind of community I want to be a part of too. And here's a quick, anybody want a quick time management lesson? Get back some time. Okay, there's a quick bonus from this experiment. The next time you're up against a decision, should I spend time on this or that? Run those 2 things past the 3 words that you just said here. And if they honor them, great, continue with that activity. If they don't, move on to something that does. So if you're up against the activity and you're saying, like, does this honor family, curiosity, and empathy? Continue. If not, it's not worth your time, not worth your values. Okay. Anybody else want to say theirs out loud? You else want to come off mute and say theirs out loud? Kirsten, you want to say yours out loud?
Sure. I'm feeling balanced, compassionate, and empathy.
Love it. Love it. Love it. You're getting some head nods here. Alrighty, team. Well, thank you for joining me in that exercise. So, in the experiments, so these are 3 reasons that the Leadership Lab was born. Leadership is an experiment, and having a safe space to test out your style is one of the best things that you can do to build it. Second one is it's a safe space to speak up and practice your style, to be able to hear yourself out loud and have a trusted audience to provide feedback. And the third one is this, to have a community, to have somewhere that you can belong. So I'd like to pause here for a second and hear your feedback. I mean, what do you think about this so far? Is this landing for you? Does this sound like something that would be helpful, useful, and valuable, either through just the podcast itself or a community that provides these things for you? And I would love to see, oh, cool, Candace has got a heck yeah. Ooh, I see all caps in the chat. That makes me happy. Would anybody like to unmute and share a comment? I'd love to know what you think so far. I've been working really hard on this. And so here, if I see hearts from Bonnie, I see a big smile from Allison.
I think it's amazing. And I love stuff like this, Jamie, because it kind of just forces you. It's really easy to get caught up in the day to day, and just having this like dedicated time to step back for just a minute and focus on yourself and where you want to go and what you're doing in life is like so important. It's so important. So I love this. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, Candace. I totally agree. And you sound a little under the weather. And if that's the case, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
I am
losing my voice.
Okay. Maggie, love it. There's nothing like this. Allison says the experiment part of it takes so much pressure, right, off of leading. Yeah. And when we've got pressure on us, right, it's so hard to perform under pressure. But when you've got that freedom to just play around or even like fall off your bike, right, and it's no big deal because you're in that supportive environment. This makes me so excited, right, to have you be able to step into this space. So would you like to take a look at the community? Would you like to see how the inside of the community is? Okay. And if you're like, I got what I needed, Jamie, I'm out, like, that's fine. So the community is membership based. It is membership based. And let me share the details with you here. So this is a screenshot of the community. It is a very slick virtual platform. Lisa and her team did a fantastic job of building this out for us. There's 3 different tracks that you can join the lab within. So the first track, oh, and let me just say, I'm going to introduce this to you at just a very high level today. I'm happy to answer your questions, but I'm not going to get into the details because that's not why you came here today. And I have follow-up sessions where if you're interested, we're going to go behind the scenes together and I'll get you all the information. Cool? So this is just high-level overview right now. Okay, so the essentials. This is your entry. This is both your entry track and it's an opportunity to circle back. So this is for both emerging and seasoned professionals. So this is ideal if you're an emerging leader or if you're a seasoned professional and you want to sharpen your skills. So my 3 pillars of leadership graduates, this is a great opportunity for you to come back into the community. You will be joining as a white coat member because you're a graduate of the highest level of this program and have that exposure, like Candace just said, just to continue to sharpen that skill, right? To continue to reserve the time for yourself because we all know how easy it is for that time to get scheduled over. So this is an all play here in the program. The next level up is the accelerator level. This is for managers who are ready to expand your role and get noticed. If you have felt like a best kept secret for a long time at work, this comes with an online course. You also get everything in the essentials, and this is your next level up. And again, this is very high level. There's so many things, and Lisa will attest to this. There's so many things that you get within each of these tracks. And then the third one is the advanced level. This is where the 3 pillars of leadership program is hosted. I know I've got several of my ladies here on the call today, which is so awesome to be with you. This is for mid-level managers and above. If you are ready to step into your full leadership potential and you're looking for some guidance or some dedicated private coaching, that's what you have access to in this program, in the advanced. Yeah, and some of you are in this program right now. Hi, Karina. Just started.
Hi.
Hi. All right, so this part, I think you're gonna be so excited about this part, and there was a lot of time was spent on this. So in any level that you join, you will have access to the monthly bus stops. Has anybody here ever traveled to a foreign city and been on the hop on, hop off bus? Raise your hand if you've ever been on it. Aren't they so fun? They're like my favorite thing, right? This model works very much like that. The stops here are not building on one another, and so you can hop on or hop off at any time. So the topics that we'll cover are, for example, leadership mindset, good old imposter syndrome. We'll take care of the imposter monster. There's also things like women's health and financial well-being. And the reason that's in here is that this is a holistic approach to leadership, ladies. It's not just professional skills, because I want to make sure everybody hears me on this. To be the best leader you can be, you need the best resources to be the best woman you can be, right? And outside of work. And that has a lot to do with a healthy you. I had one-on-one call with somebody this morning, and we said, well, you know, if you don't have healthy you, there's no point in talking about executive presence, right? Other stops included here: perfectionist recovery, public speaking, executive presence, power circle networking, also nervous system reset, and the science of emotions. Whoop, I got true. If you've spent any time with me, you know I love the neuroscience behind the things that we do and what makes us tick. And so these are things that you're going to learn here, but also nervous system, right? When you have that panic moment in a meeting, how to get back to center. Then there's also a mystery stop, and there might even be more than one. And this is where I would love your input. Cheryl, I want you to help me shape this so that you can go crush it at your job. I'll crush it here at mine, and together we will ride at dawn. Are you with me on that? Together we will ride at dawn. And so let me pull out just a quick little piece here of how this works, is that with each of these stops, there's a corresponding podcast. There's a live training. We'll meet on a monthly basis. And then there's an experiment, your own experiment, that you'll be able to put together. So it won't just be, hey, yeah, let's come and talk about leadership mindset. You're actually going to be able to formulate a hypothesis, isolate your variables. This is going to work very similar to how we did it in chemistry class. And most importantly, go for it, right? Observe what you learned, talk with your fellow community mates, and then see, all right, we're either going to celebrate your success story, or we're going to talk about what would you change or do differently next time. I'm curious, how do these topics feel to you? Is this something that you would be excited to be a part of, or is this something that you'd be interested to actually have a conversation about? Thanks, Laurel. I see the thumbs up. And Laurel, I saw your intern just joined us there for a second. I love it. Looks like Laurel has a little one. All right, I see hearts for Maggie, Missy. All right. So again, this is a holistic approach to leadership, and there's two different ways you can think about this. How many of you, raise your hand if you're part of an ERG, a resource group at your company or women's association? So you can think about, imagine some ERGs are really great with their curriculum. Some are kind of, scrambling on a monthly basis to see what they're putting together. Imagine using this like as the annual curriculum, right? And making it something just valuable, pretty much plug and play that everybody can use. Okay. All right. And I want to pause here. Any questions so far? Or give me a little feedback. How do you feel about the mystery stop? I'm personally very excited about the mystery stop. Okay. All right. So here in a second, I'll show you. Intrigued. I like it. I'll show you how the pricing looks for this, what the next steps are. First, I want to say, answer the question, well, why isn't this free? Couple reasons. One, you pay attention to what you pay for, right? And this is money psychology. I don't want tire kickers here, right? You need to show up to have the transformation. And so this is you've got skin in the game, right? You know this. The second reason, I'm going to show you a figure here. This figure is how much the women who have graduated from the top program in the leadership lab have increased their compensation by just this year. So year to date, women who have graduated from the advanced level of this, anybody want to guess? I'm so excited about this number. Not $100,000, not $300,000, not $500,000, over $700,000. Yeah, I saw some eyeballs get real big right there. And some of you are on this call right now, so I am high-fiving with you at this very moment. Over $700,000. You earn a return on your investment here. And this is where I guarantee this value. And any of the Sheroes on this call, I know will back me up on this. I will stick with you until you hit your goal, and probably afterwards as well. All right. Other question I get here sometimes is, well, do I have time for this? Right? My calendar's busy. I know, I get it. Well, with my coaching hat on, what I would like to ask you is actually, this isn't the right question. What I want you to ask yourself is this: is this a priority? Right? We make time for the things that are a priority. So if this is a priority, I can promise you, you will find time. And this is also built with a busy schedule in mind. I used to work in the oil field. We said oil field never closes. I'm a business owner, mom to a little one. I get it. And I almost always hear this. This is always one of the pieces of feedback that I get. I was skeptical and not sure if I had time for this, but I quickly realized I did not have time. By the way, I asked AI, this is where it's helpful. I'm like, is this a double negative? It's not grammatically correct, but AI told me it actually is. So I'll let you make that choice on your own. But the whole point here is that if you're going to be in the meetings anyhow, if you're going to be doing career planning, if you're going to be sitting and meeting with your heart pounding and wondering, how do I speak up in the way that I want to, I would venture to say that this is worth your time. Okay, so our 3 levels here, let me share this with you. The first one, and this is where I've got follow-up sessions planned, and all I want to know today, my friends, is if you're interested. If you're interested, just let me know, and then I will share with you how to get more information. I'm not going to do the deep dive on the details here, and I know this is small, you can't even read it yet, but I just want you to see like how much is in each one of these. This is where that bus stop model is. It's where Podcast Club is. The pricing for this is designed to be friendly to everybody, $397 a year, and you can even break that down into payments, 5 payments of $81. So that's either entry level or a place to circle back after 3 pillars of leadership. Your next level here is the accelerator. The signature piece in this track is the online course, which will be starting in October. You also get everything that is included in the essentials. There's bonus trainings, there's laboratory sheets, there's digital workbook, all kinds of value here. The price for this is $14.97, and you can break that down into payments as well. And here, before you say, oh, I don't know, I can't afford that, I've got something for you. So if you just raise your hand, and I've got a QR code, and actually, Lisa, if you want to go ahead and drop that link in the chat, just the I'm interested link, that would be wonderful. Thank you. I have a template that you can use to request funds for this from your company. It's got a pretty high closing rate. So just know if you're looking at this and you're thinking, no way, well, let's see if your company will support you on this, because in a lot of cases they do. And I will help you with that. All right. And then your 3rd level here, and this is when you're like, look, I've got my eye on a promotion. I've been at a certain level for a while, very specific path, or you're like, I'm so sick of not having clarity. Help me. Great. Let's do it. Let's get you that clarity. And this is available for $49.97. And you can also do this in 3 payments. And I also have a template for you on this one. And I'm excited to share, I already have 2 ladies signed up for this. Both of them came to me and said, I don't think my company is going to support this. And I said, well, are you willing to give it a shot and ask? And they said, yep. And they both got a yes. So I will gladly, thumbs up. I will gladly share this template with you. And because you are here today, I want to make this a no-brainer for you to be a part of this. I'm offering a $100 coupon. Lisa and I were talking about that, depending where you're from. $100 off of the essentials, so that brings it down to less than $25 for payment, $250 off the accelerator, or $500 off of advanced. Okay, I know that's a lot of information. Are you interested? Would you like to hear what happens, what the next steps are? I love the double thumbs up. Thank you for that. That's so helpful. Thanks, Leah. All right, team. So here we go. Here's your QR code. This matches the link that Lisa shared. This does not obligate you to anything. It just says, yes, Jamie, I'm interested. I would like to learn more. This will get you access to the coupon. No, I'm saying coupon, to the coupon code, and to the template to request funds for the middle and the high level. And here are some important dates. So October 9th, my dad's birthday, this is when the first bus stop will occur. This is part of the Essentials program, and we're going to start off with Leadership Mindset. So either a new one for you or a reset, a mental reboot. On the 20th, October 20th, is when the Accelerator will start. And then the Advanced starts a few weeks before that, and it will have you finishing up before Christmas. So we're a few weeks out, so plenty of time here to plan, to connect with your boss, or to even talk about, hey, what does the budget look like for next year? So that's what happens next. All right, just a few more details here, friends, and then I would love to open it up to questions and comments. From here, what are the options? What are the options? So option 1 is join the Essentials today. I would really love to have you be in the essentials, to hop on and hop off the bus with me, to have an opportunity to connect with other sheroes, to hear your voice, to participate in those breakout sessions, go back to work that much more empowered and excited and with your skills sharpened. That's option one. Second option is explore the advanced and the accelerator. This is where you join me for a tour. If you're interested in advanced, I have a session tomorrow and then I have them next week. So we can get on it and get this in motion. And I'll share that template with you to request funds. Option three, hey, enjoy the podcast, right? The podcast is out there. It's free. Keep learning. If you do listen to the podcast, I would love for you to share it, to like it, to leave a review. I had a really nice text message from somebody who just listened to the first episode just before this today. That means a lot, and that tells me that it's landing with you, and it helps me keep going with it. And then option four, this is not a high pressure sale here. I hope you don't feel like you're all of a sudden trapped in a timeshare situation. I just want you to know what the options are. Hopefully you will help me share the word on this and certainly join. And if now is not the right timing for you, well, I totally respect that, right? Just reach out when you feel ready. Okay. All right. I would like to share a couple success stories with you. And these success stories belong to two ladies who are here with us today. This next one, this first one here, this is Bonnie, whose podcast episode just came out a few hours ago. So if you search Leadership Laboratory Podcast, you're going to see Bonnie. And again, here I'll put both of our QR codes up if you're interested or you're ready now. Bonnie, if I don't want to, I don't need to take your words. If you would like to unmute and share for a second, we would love to hear from you. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm wearing the same sweater.
I love it.
Anyway. Oh man, yeah, I did the 3PL, 3 Pillars of Leadership in Q1 this year, and it is absolutely turning into a power sweater. I have worn this for 3 interviews now, and all 3 have gone well. And that was using the skills I learned in the leadership program. I'm taking notes on today's session in my leadership book.
I love it. There you go. It's the merch.
I had 3 empty pages left. So
yeah, Bonnie did great. And as you can, read here in her testimonial, she had come out of some situations that had rattled confidence. You learn in session 1, and Karina can attest to this because she just learned it yesterday, what those are, and essentially, right, how to get your confidence back, how to get that earlier version of you. And I remember when Bonnie shared it made me tear up that your mom, who supported you in this program, she said, I got my daughter back.
yeah.
And that just I heard pitter patters. So go check out the podcast, hear Bonnie's story today. Bonnie, thank you for sharing. I've also got Missy here. Missy, is it next week, Missy, that you're speaking on a stage in Las Vegas?
Yes, two speeches next week in Vegas.
2, yeah, not just 1, but 2. Do you care to comment? We didn't plan this because I didn't want this to feel now.
No, I would have fixed my hair and wore the same outfit like Bonnie did, so I'd match the photo. Well, I participated in both programs, the Speak Up to Level Up, and then the 3 leaders of the 3 pillars of leadership. And so I've had the opportunity to go through both of them, and being able to now take the next step of staying in the community is what I'm most excited about, because once 3PL was over, it's kind of like, okay, what's next? How do we stay connected? How do I keep meeting amazing people? How do I stay on this journey? Because I don't want to put all that work in and then it just, fall off all of the habits that I was starting to create. So this is the exact thing that I wanted, and I'm really excited to be one of your first people to join.
Woo! All right. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, it's one of those things, right? We were in a program, right? It's great. And there's definitely some momentum pieces in here. Would you say, ladies, there's some habits that you will keep, and yet it's always nice, again, this community, this connection piece and the accountability. Okay, friends. I'm gonna skip over this one for now. You'll hear Vanessa's story in the podcast, and Missy's podcast episode is coming out as well. What I would love to do is, with the few minutes we have remaining, again, just say thank you. Thank you so much for being here. You matter. Your voice matters. I would love for you to be a part of this community, and even have you help me shape it. I've got some big visions for this, in addition to some merch. I also would I see this as there being like the Denver Leadership Laboratory and the Houston Leadership Laboratory and the Oklahoma City Laboratory. So it starts here, right? You've got the option and the opportunity to do this, to help me shape it and craft it. Also on that form where it asks for your interest, it says suggestion box. So put ideas in there and I will continue to shape and mold so that you have everything you need to be set up for success, and that your higher self and your leadership potential is doing its touchdown dance. You're adding to that compensation number and we can all celebrate together. So at this point, Missy, can we actually have white coats? Yes. Let's make it happen with the Leadership Lab logo. The podcast, Leah, great question, is called the Leadership Laboratory. So it's the same name. Same name. I would love to hear questions. I would love to hear comments. What did you hear that you were excited about? What did you hear that, you have a question about? Who would like to share?
Can I?
Please.
I like that you're including health in there, obviously, with my shift and finding the job that I really love and I'm good at, thanks to 3PL and setting me up for that. I'm focusing back on my health. So I was really excited to kind of see, some focus on that, because it is so important for women to really focus on their health. That's an essential part of their leadership.
And Maggie, I'm so glad that you said that. And this is a little teaser to Maggie's future podcast episode. You even applied what you learned to advocate for yourself with a variety of different physicians, correct?
Yes, I did. I practiced. I had my tone set. I owned in 2 situations, which we'll talk about. And I have a column coming out where I'm going to be talking about what Jamie taught me and how I use that to interact with my care team. So.
Yes, I love it. There's a lot of intersectionality of what you learn in this program that you can apply professionally, yet goes into the personal side of things, right? To develop professionally, you got to start in here. Thank you, Maggie, for that comment.